This is the dawn of a new era in British karting. Over 550 drivers in 12 classes competing for victory over 18 race weekends. This is the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships. The British Kart Championships see the IAMI classes rock up to Three Sisters in Wigan for the first time in 6 years. In Mini X30, Aidan Lyne has showed his credentials with second fastest time in qualifying. Can he maintain that speed through the finals?
We're looking to achieve a top 3 now that we've got the kart sorted out and where we want it to be. So hoping to get a top 3 in the final today. It's very warm and it's very fast and flowing, not really many low speed corners, so it's a very fast track. Me and my coach have been looking at the main straight, trying to defend, to get people out the slipstream.
Luke Watts in pole position from Olivier Algieri, Bart Harrison and Oliver Greenall, then Theo McCurris, Jess Edgar, Lyne, Brown, Pearson, Parsons is still. Let's go racing in Mini X30, lights out straight away and we're racing. Here are Three Sisters, charged out of the first corner and it looks like it's going to be a very strong challenge to that first corner from Algieri, but he can't overhaul Watts. As they go through the first corner and up the valley, it is Luke Watts for the Cato Motorsport squad that holds the lead in the early doors. Into the right-hander and along the old pit straight. So Luke Watts has the advantage over Olivier Algieri. Up to third position, that is Bart Harrison, who has held off the momentum from his teammate Oliver Greenall. But Theo McCurris is right there in fifth position. Jessica Edgar still sixth. Ed Pearson has elevated himself to seventh place off the start in front of Aidan Lyne. And then it is Evan Brown, Gabriel Stilp and Ashton Parsons who finish off the field. Luke Watts is hanging on to this advantage for the moment. He's going to find it tough to remain in first position with Algieri breathing down his neck. Algieri is giving him a bit of support down to the first corner. He wants to stretch out the gap, leaving these two, Bart Harrison and Ollie Greenall, in their wake. If the race were to finish like this, then Greenall would still lead the championship on 603 points. But thanks to his great performance this weekend, Luke Watts would now move into second place. That's not taking into account drop scores. Greenall makes the move on his teammate. That has made a few changes. And so now Greenall up to third past Harrison. And Theo McCurris is now the next one stepping up the attack. He's got a really good run as they come up towards Luna Bend. He's trying to make his presence felt in the top 6. Jess Edgar there in 6th position as well. Don't count her out of a fight for the championship. She's only 23 points back from Greenall before drop scores if it stays like this. And it won't stay like this for long. McCurris makes a brilliant lunge up into third position up the way to the first corner. Theo McCurris pulls it out of the block again and into third place behind the two leaders, Watts and Algieri. So now McCurris has the trio of fusion karts behind him in his wake. Greenall in fourth, Harrison in fifth and Edgar in sixth. But McCurris took full advantage of the battle between the fusions and decides to go for the move. So it looks to me as though that's actually Jess Edgar up to fourth place. My apologies. So Edgar has made the move on Greenall and also her teammate Bart Harrison. But that has allowed Theo McCurris up in a third position, and that changes things pretty dramatically. Now he goes for second. He's going to make the move on his teammate Algieri. He gets through. Edgar's trying to get through in a third. She doesn't make it. So she's there in fourth still. Now, as far as I can tell, that's going to put Theo McCurris on 597 in the points tally. Greenall on 602. So that really does tighten things up. If McCurris can get past Watts, not only does he retain second in the Drivers' Championship, tied with Watts at the present moment as they are on 595. So if he gets past Watts, he'll take the lead of that battle for second, but he'll also tighten up his grip on Greenall, who's in third place at the moment. So Greenall's made up some places. Now that means that Greenall is up from fifth to third, so that will put him on 604 points. So that helps him out quite a lot. But he's not done yet because here comes Algieri. Algieri trying to get through on Greenall to tighten his way through in a third position. McCurris is still pushing very hard up and over the top of the valley. McCurris is now into second place in the standings on 597 with Watts in third on 595. So McCurris really could do with getting through. If he can, then he's going to be on 602 with Greenall on 604. Now that's definitely going to give us an amazing type of fight at Wilton Mill. If Makuris can get past Watts and win, there will just be 2 points between the 2 leading drivers in the championship. But Algieri wants to write his own story here. He's going to try and get on terms with Ollie Greenall. So the 2 crop promotion drivers trying to move up a place. If Makuris does so, he takes the lead. If Algieri does so, he gets into 3rd. And in 5th position, Jess Edgar is still there waiting in the wings from Bart Harrison and Ed Pearson. So a very exciting battle still to come. Theo Makuris is just getting himself sat nicely in position in 2nd place behind Luke Watts. He doesn't have to lead the race at this point. He just needs to allow Luke Watts a little bit of breathing space. He can do all the hard work sat in the lead of the race, while Makuris in 2nd place just eases up, follows in his wheel tracks, studies where he's going to be vulnerable, and gets himself ready for a power play later on. Ollie Greenall, meanwhile, has got some pressure, not just from Olivier Algieri, but also from his own teammate, Jessica Edgar, as they go down the home straight. Edgar's on a good run. Here comes Algieri, and Edgar's going to use the opportunity to go through as well. So Algieri to 3rd, Edgar to 4th, and Greenall down to 5th. Now that is very dramatic, because that will put Greenall back down to 6:02. If Makuris were to take the lead at that point, they would be dead level on points. So Greenall finishing 5th and Makuris finishing 1st would tie them. But now here goes Edgar for Algieri. Greenall's going to try for it as well. Algieri does not let him through. And here comes Ed Pearson. Storms his way into 5th position. Brilliant move from Ed Pearson. There's not a lot that Greenall could do about that one. And that drops him to 6th position. Now if Makuris could take the lead of Luke Watts, he would take the lead in the Drivers' Championship before drop scores by just 1 point. So that would really set things up for a bit of a beauty at Wilton Mill. This is going to be absolutely electric. So Theo Makuris continues to battle away. I've just recalculated, my apologies, it will put Makuris on 600 to Greenall's 601. So there would be 1 point between them regardless. What a battle it's going to be at Wilton Mill if this result is the one we're going to stick with. I have a feeling it isn't though, because we've still got 9 minutes on the clock plus the additional lap. And these guys are nowhere near done yet. Jess Edgar in 3rd position in front of Algieri and Pearson. Algieri desperately trying to hang on in front of Ed Pearson, who really has got a 2nd win after his retirement earlier on in one of the heats. He's now charging his way forward. Watch him as he makes his bid for Algieri. He has to go right, and he gets chopped across there by Algieri. Very close indeed for Pearson. He went to the right, then went to the left, and Algieri went there as well. That was very close indeed. Pearson just managed to get off the throttle in time to avoid disaster there. Theo Makuris is going to make the bid for the lead though on the inside of Watts, and he's through. Nice overtake from Makuris, brilliantly timed, and so now he takes the lead, and that puts him on 600 points if it stays like this. But Edgar is giving a massive pressure to the kart in 2nd place, Luke Watts. Edgar wants to take 2nd place away from Watts. Greenall down in 6th position. Makuris is getting the hurry up from Watts and Edgar down the home straight. Across the line they come, and Makuris is still trying to hold the lead. Here comes Edgar up the inside and a 2nd on Watts. So Edgar is through. An absolutely brilliant performance for Jess Edgar. And I'm sure that no doubt cousin Johnny Edgar watching along on the sidelines is really enjoying the battle. Jess Edgar in 2nd position, right in behind Theo Makuris. Makuris is your leader, and if it stays like this, he'll be just 1 point behind Ollie Greenall in the Drivers' Championship before drop scores heading to Wilton Mill. Drop scores would then, of course, have to be taken into account, but Jess Edgar has absolutely pushed on the door now of Theo Makuris. He's on the back bumper as well. That's 3rd position. Who's that? Luke Watts charging after Jess Edgar down the home straight. Is there going to be a move for the lead? No, they're just trying to stretch out the gap to 4th place Olivier Algieri, and Pearson's still there in 5th. But Makuris has got a little bit of breathing space now. Edgar went for a move and it hasn't worked. Now she's having to defend from Watts, and that's given Makuris a bit of breathing space. Exactly what he needed to win this race at this point. There's still a long way to go. We're into the 2nd half of the race, but a little bit of daylight between Makuris and Edgar is a very positive sign for the crop promotion driver. Watts now needing to try and get the move on Edgar, but Watts is going to work with Edgar to close up on Makuris. So that advantage is wiped out immediately. They come off of Luna. Makuris holding the inside line. He's going to send Edgar to the right side. Edgar's going to pop up on the inside, and with assistance from Watts, they're both going to storm through. Edgar to the lead, Watts to 2nd, Makuris down to 3rd. Brilliant bit of racecraft here at Three Sisters. I'm trying to remember the last dull race I saw on this circuit. It just provides action and drama aplenty. Absolutely terrific. Now on the inside for third, that's Algieri on his teammate Makuris. That's going to drop him down to fourth place. Ed Pearson now trying to make the pin. He can't get through. Greenhill now going to try and have a crack at Pearson. And in behind is Bart Harrison in seventh place. So an amazing tussle and a great duel for position. But Algieri is up to third past his teammate Makuris. So that hope of closing in down to just 1 point in the championship is done for the moment. But we're not done yet. Edgar defends to Watts to the inside line as Harrison, I think, has made the move on Greenhill to get through into sixth position. They're certainly backing away the two Fusions up front. And Algieri making the move on Makuris really has given the two leaders a bit of an even break. Jess Edgar leading the way in front of Luke Watts as they battle for second position in the Drivers' Championship. If they can close up on Makuris' tally, they have a great chance to close in. But it looks like it's going to be these four drivers fighting for the Drivers' Championship. Oliver Greenhill, Theo Makuris, Luke Watts and Jessica Edgar. If it finishes like this, the gap between the four of them before drop scores will be just 13 points. And it really will be those four fighting for supremacy as Makuris gets up the inside of his teammate and grabs third place. Brilliant late manoeuvre from Makuris there. He read the situation perfectly. Algieri got a bit deep into the braking zone and Makuris just stood on everything up the inside again, and that buys him back another point. Algieri trying again. Makuris more than a match as he hangs on to third place. Greenhill down in sixth still and unable to get close enough to Pearson to make an overtaking move at the moment. But Olivier Algieri will want to work with his teammate Theo Makuris to close up on the leading two. Watts has got a good line off Luna. Jessica Edgar's going to hold the lead over the line, but I think Watts is going to try and make a bid for the lead of the race here. No, he doesn't. He thinks better of it. Meanwhile, Algieri and Pearson are both going to make a shot on Makuris. Makuris tangles with his teammate. Makuris is off. Oh no! Theo Makuris off the circuit at the chicane. Rejoins, but down the order in ninth position. That has ruined any chance Makuris had of winning this race. Devastating as he and his teammate tangle there in the fight up in the first corner. That promotes Pearson to third and Greenhill to fourth. That has given Greenhill a bit of a breather, but for Theo Makuris, it is devastating for his title aspirations. That has really not helped at all. So now Luke Watts all over the back of Jess Edgar as they fight for the victory alone. Pearson is third. Algieri is still having a monumental battle, this time with Bart Harrison, who closed right up on him as his teammate and him tangled up in the first corner. But Jessica Edgar has only got a couple of centimetres advantage over Luke Watts as we've got 3.5 minutes to go, plus the additional lap. Can Jess Edgar hang on for the victory? It wouldn't be her first in a final in the British Karting Championships, but at this point in the championship, it would certainly be her most critical. If it stays like this, she'll be just 1 point behind Makuris and incredibly just 4 behind Watts. The title fight is definitely coming alive now. Oliver Greenhill elevated to 603 points means the gap between the four would be just 15 rather than 13 heading to the final round, but again, that is before drop scores are taken into account. Best 10 results of the season count out of the 12 in the season. So Jess Edgar wanting to take a victory to strengthen her position and authority in the Drivers' Championship. Right in there with Luke Watts. Watts is all over the back of her. He's not letting her get away. And Jess Edgar for the Fusion Motorsport team, channeling all those years of experience. It runs thick in the blood of the Edgar Racing family. They've been racing for decades now, and Jess Edgar has just proven yet again that there must be something in the water at that end of the country, as she is the latest member of the Edgar dynasty to charge forward. Up the top of the valley, Watts is all over the back of her still. But Jess Edgar hanging on to this one over the top of the valley and up towards the chicane. In through the right-hander, down the old pit straight. Edgar is your leader. Watts second. Pearson in third place from Greenhill in fourth. Then Algieri and Harrison. Line, Stilp and Makuris from Evan Brown and Ashton Parsons. That's the order. But this is the closest battle on track. The lead contention between Jess Edgar and Luke Watts. Watts still trying to edge Edgar away from Ed Pearson. A podium for Ed is definitely going to help him out. But this is where the real battle is going to be for Jess Edgar. hugs the inside line. Can Watts drive around the outside of her? She's so strong in that first corner, Jess Edgar. Her defensive tactics are second to none in this Mini X30 category on that first corner alone. Absolutely resolute in holding the advantage, and now with a couple of laps to go, she's holding the inside. Watts is going to try. Edgar squeezes him out. Well defended by Jess Edgar. Really exciting battle there, as again she steps up to the plate and delivers in spades. Any other driver might have slung that up the inside, and Edgar could have conceded there, but she is not going to lose a race so easily. Out of Luna. Edgar versus Watts again as they come over the start-finish line. Again, Edgar just bolts herself to that inside apex. And now they come through up to the first corner. Again, Edgar keeps the door firmly shut. No way of getting through. Watts tries again up the valley. Over the top of the crest. And they are on their penultimate lap, I do believe. If not, they're only going to have one additional one. Again, Edgar bolts herself to the inside line. Watts is going to be sent round the outside. He needs to maximise the undercut here. Jess Edgar's beautiful on the acceleration out of the turn. No chance of losing the position now. Absolutely brilliant up towards Luna. Luke Watts has to come back at her from a little way further back. They come out of Luna Bend and back on the power. Jess Edgar, she's still running a great race here in front of Luke Watts down the straight, and again Edgar bolts herself to the inside line. Watts is having to go the long way round. Again Edgar squeezes him out. He nearly gets alongside that time, but as time runs down to 0, we're not quite on the last lap. So this is the penultimate lap, and that was the best chance yet Watts has had of getting past Edgar in a straight fight, and again she's not going to let him go. To the inside line on the exit of the old pit straight. She's so good off the turn. That's where she's really strong. She's able to get back on the power at exactly the right moment, backs Luke Watts in behind her and gets herself that cart and a half breathing space. That is how she's able to maintain this lead. She's just got to do that for one more lap of this Three Sisters circuit. Out of the final turn, down the straight, last lap board is out. Jess Edgar holds the inside line, sends Watts to the left. This time Watts is really going to step it up, and Edgar again slices back in front. No chance. Over the valley. Still they duel away. Edgar hanging on from Luke Watts. Watts tries into the S's. No, don't even think about it. There's no way through there. Edgar tries again to defend to the inside line. Watts again has to move to cover. And again, Edgar blends back off the power masterfully. No chance for Watts there. He's only got one real shot. He needs to come at Edgar from a long way back out of Luna. Into the left. Sets himself up for a charge up the inside. I think he's done that well, but Edgar's going to need to jump across. She's done enough. Jessica Edgar's going to take the victory. She wins the Three Sisters. Brilliant racing. Coming of age in the British Kart Championship. We've seen a female champion in the British Kart Championship in TKM in recent years, but not in X30. Jessica Edgar may be about to get close to that. Absolutely amazing. She's now just 15 points away from Oliver Greenall in the championship lead. Jess Edgar wins from Luke Watts and Ed Pearson. Oliver Greenall is 4th from Olivier Algieri. Bar Harrison is 6th from Gabriel Stilp. Then Aidan Line, Theo Makuris recovers to 9th in front of Evan Brown and Ashton Parsons. And they all made it home. But now there is a 4-way title fight heading to Wilton Mill between Ollie Greenall, Luke Watts, Theo Makuris and Jess Edgar. Our winner here today, here in round 10.
A double victory in the two finals gives Jessica Edgar a genuine shot at the Mini X30 British title, but Luke Watts and Edward Pearson are keen to finish their seasons with victory.
Yeah, well, yesterday didn't go to a great start, didn't have the best qualifying, with problems with the kart the whole day. It came to the final yesterday and I didn't have enough grip to turn in, so I struggled. Today, started 9th, got up to about 6th on the first lap, and then on the going into like the 10th lap, Algieri went for the move and I went on the inside of him, so I did both of them and I got away.
I set off first yesterday, halfway through the race I came back to 4th, and then I got back through and pushed Jess Edgar, and then I tried to get past for I failed, so I ended up getting second. And today, pretty much same thing, and came second again. And I'd like to say thank you to my dad, mechanic, Kato Motorsport, and everyone in there.
Yesterday I didn't have that good a heat, and then we come to the final and I led from like lap 5 and managed to win. Then today we didn't have the best heats either, with problems in both heats, and then so I started off 6th for the final, managed to come through and then drop back again, then come through and managed to get the win again. I'd like to say thanks to Mark for mechanicking, Gossie, Chris and Tom and Joe for the engines, and Fusion Motorsport for putting everything together.